I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Before we approve our agenda, we're going to pull item number D from under the consent calendar. We need another week to review that MOU. With that, if there's no other additions or corrections, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
Move. Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Dennert. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. This time we'll open the meeting up for any public comment. Is there anyone that would like to address the commission this morning on any topic that's not on the agenda? In person, out there online, or on the phone? Seeing none, we will move on. First reading of ordinance 261.
Ordinance 261, an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to add to Title IV zoning, Chapter 4.2015, fences, all adopted by ordinance 261 as amended of Title IV zoning ordinance of Brown County, South Dakota.
Is there anyone here to speak to ordinance 261? Not, I would entertain a motion to approve first reading.
Move.
Motion by Dennert.
Second.
Second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, Ted Dickey, Northeast Council of Governments, with a laundry list of...
It's nice, easy stuff this morning. I've got three separate agenda items this morning. They all have to do with the Community Development Block Grant that's being passed through Brown County to the YMCA for the Youth Development Center addition that's going on over there. The first item is an administrative contract. This is between Northeast Council of Governments and Brown County, and that's for the administration of the Community Development Block Grant. When we applied for the grant, we applied for $750,000 in grant funds and an additional $20,000 in administrative funds to pay for our costs, and the state pays us for the administration, so this is just a formality, so to speak, to get the administrative contract in place. We would need a motion and a second to approve the administration contract, and I'll answer any questions.
If there's no questions, I would entertain a motion.
Move. Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Dennert. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
The second one, we weren't sure if it needed to be done or not. It's the drawdown request number 1, again, for the YMCA Youth Development Center addition. When we passed the resolution originally, the resolution authorized the chair to sign not only the application, but all subsequent documents, such as drawdown requests. So we weren't sure if we needed to bring this in front of the council or commission or not. But this is authorizing for pay request number 1 for portion of the construction costs for the project.
Okay, anybody have any questions on what we're doing there? We'll err on the side of caution and approve it that way before everything's documented.
Do the future ones like that as well then.
Okay,
I'll move it.
motion by Dennert,
Second.
second by Gage. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Item C is the initial requirements. Again, a portion of the, or a component of the Community Development Block Grant is to reaffirm some items that the Commission already has in place, like equal employment opportunity policy, fair housing, excessive force, restrictions on lobbying, relocation, displacement, acquisitions, and code of conduct policies. Again, these are policies that the county already has in place, but the Community Development Block Grant Program requires that the county reaffirm that these are indeed in place, and so those are on the agenda for approval today as well.
And I think we can do one blanket policy for all of those, can't we?
I believe so.
Okay. Is there any further question? If there are no further questions or conversation, I I would entertain a motion to approve
There's
those documents.
None of these conflict with anything that we already have as far as language on that, right?
No, it's more of a reaffirm.
Just reaffirm. Okay.
How long have we been doing these, or how many years, do you know?
Well, we've been using the past ones, since 1993.
Okay.
And the states had, we probably should get some new ones, so a lot of these, I'm not sure what the county has, but the ones that we've been using for community development block grant purposes have been 1993.
Okay. All right.
I'll move it.
Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Denner. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. That's it.
Anything else that the commission wants me to talk on? I'm
No.
full of useless information, so,
We'll get you updated copies with current dates.
thank you.
Be good to go.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thanks,
Thank
Ted.
you.
Have a good Thanksgiving. All right, next up, Dave Lunsman, Sheriff, to discuss the RFP for the in-car cameras and the deputy body cams. We're basically just gonna approve advertising the RFP today. Dave didn't feel the need to come over, it's pretty self-explanatory. We'll just set the date to authorize advertising. Any questions, or you had a chance to look at that?
We'd have to change the date, you've got opening on December 5th, that wouldn't work, because we need to advertise.
Oh, okay. And he wasn't sure of the date, so we just...
So if we approve publication today, publish the 29th and 6th, and we could open on the
29th and 6th, so December 12th, okay? So we'll change the date on that to December 12th from December 5th. Everything else look okay? All right. Entertain a motion to authorize advertising.
I'll move it.
Motion by Denner,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, TIF administrative fee discussion. Commissioner Gage, I think you had extensive conversations last week with one of the representatives from the Department of Revenue from South Dakota regarding TIFs, and got a few questions answered, and possibility of us moving forward on new TIFs and applying an administrative fee. So I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, I guess as far as they're concerned, and Ross is gonna have to fact check me on everything I say here, but, there's an avenue where the county's allowed to charge administrative fees for the amount of work that counties do in TIFs, where I almost say, a lot of the bulk of the work done on a TIF is done at the county level, i.e. the auditor's office does a lot, director of legalization does an awful lot over there, treasurer, and, even on the planning, zoning, GIS, everybody has kind of a touch on this stuff, so there's a lot of, in my opinion, there's a lot of expense at the county level with and when you have the TIF, there's no tax base to offset that, because that's locked up for 20 years. So they allow for administrative fees to be charged, and I know the city does charge them on the ones that the city puts forth, which out of the, I think it was 27 active TIFs right now in the county, 26 of them are the cities, one of them is the county. So I think we need to be charging administrative fees, to be honest, and where that lands as far as an amount, I know Ross is still looking at how we're gonna frame all that, right?
I guess I had to kind of put together a crash course for myself in TIFs. I did talk to Robin from the Department of Revenue. Her discussions with you guys were more centered around TIFs that originate with the county. She put me in touch with an individual out of Pierre, who indicated that he thought there was maybe one county that had some sort of agreement with the city to put that in the development plan, and that's how those costs could be assessed. So the reality is, since they don't originate with us, we don't really get a say without cooperation from the city. I'm reaching out to the other county to see what kind of, agreement they have set up and see how they got to that point. And we're still looking at other options too.
The way I understand it, South Dakota codified law allows a reasonable administrative fee to be applied. Is that what you've learned?
Yes, but it's in the development plan.
Right.
And
So we need to check.
That would be 11,915 imputed administrative costs, including reasonable charges for time spent by municipal employees in connection with implementation of the plan.
So there specifically says municipal, not
It does.
county? Okay. So we'll need to do a little more research with the other county that's currently working with their city.
Correct.
Okay.
I have a phone call in, and I'm just waiting to hear back.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to discuss on today? At least we're working towards the potential of passing a resolution saying that we would be implementing an administrative fee on any TIFs going forward is kind of our goal, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one of the bigger things too is, I mean, it'd be different if, county was overseeing one or two TIFs in there, but, I mean, like I said, we got 27, there's two more on there, there's one to maybe possibly be approved tonight at their planning, which would move into the, city council would have to approve it. And there's at least one for sure that's being discussed, so I mean, proposed, so it's, I mean, it's not like they're going away, it's not like the numbers are getting any less, so I mean, and I think it puts a large burden on what the county has to do for all of these, and not even just to get them set up, it's concurrent costs through the entire 20 years that are required by a few different offices here that handle that as far as it, so. To me, a reimbursement on that wouldn't be out of line, I don't think.
And we were told last week at our district meeting, that of the three biggest counties that have the largest number of TIFs in the state, I believe Pennington was number one, and then Minnehaha and Brown are tied for number two.
Yes.
Or was it Cottington? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Cottington and Brown.
Minnehaha is one less, I
Yeah,
think, than
yeah.
what we do.
So those are the top four counties that have the most number of TIFs, so. Okay, well, thank you for, doing that research, both Ross and Mike, and more to come on that. Anything else that anyone would like to have answered? If not, we'll move on. Planning and zoning, floodplain development permits. Mr. Bader.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This part here is just kind of quick. When the county has a declaration, for example, like flooding in the springtime, that allows the townships to recoup either grant money, cost sharing, or something from FEMA with gravel repairs and culvert repairs or replacements, things like that. Usually it's emergency management that is doing the meetings and stuff with FEMA in the early spring, and then the townships come in and learn, what paperwork they need to fill out and the process and so forth. And what's happened the last three times is everyone sends their paperwork in and documentation to FEMA, and then FEMA turns around and sends it all back to them and says you need to go to the local floodplain administrator to get a floodplain development permit, or else if they refer you to H&H studies and so forth. I think I had, it was either 9 or 11 townships this time, and then we get all the paperwork and then they need it done yesterday, because it's at the very end of the process, and they have deadline dates when they had to have it submitted. So I called emergency management in the state office and asked them if that isn't something that they could put as a line item when they have these meetings, so that they know that they need to talk to the local floodplain administrator, and instead of having all this come in last minute like that. They don't have anything on there, and he agrees it'd be probably a pretty good deal to have it in the beginning, and we can either have our local emergency management represent Brown County, or they can tell me when the meeting is and invite me to the meeting, and I can talk to the townships, or just have the state let them know, but, I'm trying to get that situated, so, it's not last minute and they're all waiting on me then
Sure.
for their money, so I don't know what direction you guys would prefer, but I think, at least getting it up in the front during the flooding process and the introductions would be a plus.
Good start, yep.
But, I mean, I'm not opposed to going to meetings or discussing it, but, you know, if you wanna have local emergency management represent Brown County, they can tell them also, however you wanna do it, but, sounds like we can probably move forward on that, and,
Have you, visited with Scott Mines?
no, I haven't.
Okay. Well, maybe we need to get the two of you together and see where it would be the best fit, see which one of your offices would maybe have the most amount of information readily available to make it easier for the, you know, for the permitting process to move along. So it wouldn't be an extra burden on your office if, Scott and Patty could handle it, so when we plan on sitting down, the two of you and one of us, and hashing it over to see where would be the best fit, that would be my recommendation. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
Hey, could I comment on that?
Absolutely. Dirk Rogers, Highway Superintendent.
Yeah, I just wanna echo what Bader's saying, 'cause, I mean, 20 years ago, I don't remember messing around with floodplain development permits, say to go lay gravel on the road below, like the Scandinavian Church. I mean, and I haven't even talked to Scott about ours yet. He reached out to me a while ago, and just like he said about a week ago, they're like, oh yeah, get your floodplain development permit. So if we gravel like Road 25 down there, or we gravel below the Scandinavian Church, and of course right now the Hall Crossing is in a stall because of environmental and some other things. But everything Scott's saying is absolutely right. I think we should do whatever we can do on any of this stuff to get it out in the front, because there's always log jams with dates and stuff, and FEMA has been much better with this last emergency compared to the past, but there's still a lot we can do to make this better. And in general, I think it's kind of silly that we, you know, below the Scandinavian Church, if we go lay gravel and use FEMA's money, we got to get a floodplain development permit. But if we just use regular money and go lay gravel, then it's just another day at the office, you know. But one of those things. But yeah, I would also support, and without sticking my nose in like I tend to, I would also like to participate in whatever discussions you're having, because it will, you know, kind of affect us too.
That makes sense. I see Scott Mines is out there. Scott Mines, are you out there?
Yes, sir.
You have time to step in here for a minute? Good
Yeah.
morning.
Good morning.
We're not trying to blindside you, but we're having a conversation regarding moving the floodplain development permits to earlier in the process, to get it done earlier in the process, and trying to figure out who would be best suited to maybe handle that, oversee that part of it. And I asked Scott if he had talked to you, and he said no, so that was gonna be our next step.
Yeah. You mean about moving the floodplain management stuff out of Scott's office, or?
Well,
The notification to the townships, 'cause all the townships sent all their stuff to FEMA, and then they get it all back, and they have to come visit me, and then it's supposed to be done 2 weeks ago. They didn't know, so like when the meetings are up front with the disaster in the springtime, if there is I don't know if it's cost share or just reimbursement, but when they're going over the paperwork and stuff, I talked to the state to see if we can't at least let these townships know they need to come talk to us in the planning and zoning office.
Yeah. I mean, if that's just a notification thing, I mean, we can reach out to the townships and,
During them meetings or
You know,
whatever, so
yeah.
they know,
yep.
so between one of your offices, that's what we're trying to determine
Yeah.
where it would be the best fit without adding extra burden to either
So I,
one.
just so I understand, this is if we have a presidential disaster declaration and the townships are gonna get funds. We just need to make them aware that they need to work with Scott's office on the floodplain management side of things.
So
Correct?
anything that's in floodplain areas, they have to go through a process, through our office, and if it's just a low-lying area that they're adding gravel or something, and it's not in the floodplain, that
Sure,
doesn't
sure.
come into play.
No, we can make that work, 'cause we got some bigger changes coming for those folks,
Okay.
for that process, so we'll just add that in there.
And I'm gonna try to go to, Gene's meeting, in March?
March.
In March, and then bring it up then to, so the townships can have an idea.
So between planning and zoning, emergency management, and the highway department, we
Yep.
can kind of all be aware of what's going on and who's been notified, and so that we're
Well,
we're
and
going
this
through the
is-
proper steps.
This is, probably even besides Brown County, I mean, if this is a federal or a state thing, I'll bring it up to the state, folks.
They're gonna add it
Disaster
to a
planning.
list of
Yeah.
things when they go to a meeting or something.
Yeah, we'll get that on there
Review
too,
it.
so.
That'd be
Yep.
good to notify them in March there at Gene's meeting downstairs.
Pre-flood, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be.
Hopefully
Hopefully,
pre-flood, yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully there is no flood.
Right, right.
I like your thinking.
But that's a good time to just kinda let them all know they're at that meeting, getting their
Yeah.
paperwork and stuff,
Yep.
and I figured I'd just kinda go over it with them. 'Cause the one we had before, I don't know, I must have had close to 15 to 20 townships. This one, I think I have 11. And, you know, when they think they have everything done and they send it all to FEMA, then they send it all back and say, you know, go to the local county. So,
Well, this is gonna save a lot of time, then when they do send it in, it's complete, it's already
Yeah.
got the
Yep.
information that you need to provide,
yeah,
so.
so.
Okay.
I just wanted to bring that up, and then, you know, if townships are listing and stuff, they know.
Sounds like we have a plan between the three departments, kind of coordinate together and get the word out to the townships, so.
Yep.
All right?
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
Scott,
you.
and Scott, and Dirk. All right, moving on to the consent calendar. Lynn?
Approval of the general meeting minutes of November 14th.
Move. Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Dennert, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claims and payroll.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Dennert, second by Gage, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
HR report.
Move. Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Dennert, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claim assignment.
Move.
Motion by Dennert, second by Sutton, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Lease agreements.
Move.
Motion by Gage, second by Dennert, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Travel request.
Move.
Motion by Dennert,
Second.
second by Gage, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Is there any other business to come before the Brown County Commission this morning? We've had a request by planning and zoning and HR to go into exec to discuss personnel and contracts. Do you have anything legal, Ross? Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Move.
Motion by Gage, second by Dennert. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are in exec. All right, lights back on. We're back in session, out of exec with no action as a result. Is there anything else to come before the Brown County Commission this morning?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Dennert,
Second.
second by Gage to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you.